It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball.
SKOR North Twins Show, he's back. Coach Trev, back with us on a Tuesday here. Coach Trev, welcome back. Excited to have you here. Shout out to our friends, by the way, at Underdog. So right now, for the NBA playoffs exclusively, we have the extender going on. So if you got in on Game 1, you can continue extending that profit boost for Game 2. Increases all the way up to a possible Game 7. So when the Wolves sweep the Lakers here pretty soon,
wow,
you can use that extender for the second round series.
Are those Trevor's Lakers? No. Okay.
No. Okay, thank God. Because Royce Lewis is very adamant that series is going to be over in 5. And actually he said sweep. He first said sweep, then he said 5. Told me, he said that's going to be the easiest cakewalk for the Lakers. After Game 1, my buddy Royce, I don't know, man. This might be a series here, pal. So promo code SKOR for Underdog, though, to get it up to $1,000 deposit match. Promo code SKOR, SKOR, on the App Store and the Google Play Store. Okay, so, Trev, I'm not sure if these two guys saw the same clip I saw. But while you were on vacation, did you potentially save a little boy from drowning in the ocean?
I did. I mean...
What?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was out there watching my kids, and then one of our friends' kid. They were just out there. I was in clear water, so the water's not crazy out there. But on this day, it was windy, and sometimes those riptides can get a little wild. So I was out there watching, just kind of hanging. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and the two kids that I was watching, my son and my friend's son, started coming in. The kid that was playing with them didn't come in, so he's out there kind of like on his own. And all I saw was his head above the water like this. And he kept going further out, no arms. And I was like, uh-oh. And looked around like, hey, is his dad or somebody going to go get this kid? Nobody was there. So I ran and got him. That's all. I mean, I don't know what would have happened. I'm happy that I was there. His dad was fishing down the shore like 100 yards, 200 yards away. And I don't know I don't want to bag on this guy, but.
Did you does he know that you saved his kid's life, or did you just save the kid and the kid ran over to his dad?
So I ran out there, got him, brought him in. And by that time there were some people watching, and then the dad had come down. I don't know who alerted him or something. And he kind of took his kid, and this is the worst part of the story. He didn't really say thank you or anything. And then he ran back to his fishing poles. And his kid did not run back with him. His kid walked back.
So he just left this kid alone to go get his fishing poles. Wow, dude.
It was bizarre. I did not like it at all. But whatever. You gotta watch your kids in the water. That's like the parents. That's like my number one fear.
100%.
We still have our pool fence up around my pool because I'm like, well, what if someone comes over with a baby? I don't want anybody drowning in my pool. It's my biggest fear. So I'm just happy I was there.
Holy cow. Have you ever done anything that's like a fight or flight? I feel like your body probably just either reacts or it doesn't. Have you ever done anything like that before?
I mean, I don't think so. But yeah, it was no brainer. I'm like, I'm going to go get this kid. I mean, can't just let this kid.
You're not it's not my kid. They were playing with the kid, but I'm not so sure. Yeah, no, I get it.
I mean, I guess
we got a lunch reservation. Man,
his dad's got dad.
Here's the thing: if it was super turbulent waters where I knew shoot, this is bad. I think you have to think at that time am I there? Maybe there's a thought there. Probably not.
Are you both in danger at that point?
Yeah, but I mean, it wasn't. It was something like a 9 or 10-year-old kid couldn't handle. But I knew I was not in any danger, and I went for it. Maybe I don't know.
So who's going to rescue the Twins from these choppy waters?
Great question.
It's very turbulent, though. This is the problem. You might not want to go pursue the Twins. It might be too deep. Call the Coast Guard.
I thought I saw a stat, something about their playoff odds are down to 6% or something like that, which is pretty crazy to think. I don't know who's going to save the Twins. I don't know if it is your guy, Royce Lewis, after he's done watching the Lakers-Wolves series. Maybe he does. But dug ourselves a pretty big hole here, haven't we? And it's been a little bit of everything. It's been the bullpen. It's been the starting pitching. It's been just lack of good at-bats. That's kind of where we're at now. It's if it was just one thing, then you could say, oh yeah, let's just go fix this. And maybe we'll call this guy up. And it just hasn't been that at all. And when you get to a point like this in a season where it just has been so bad, you can tell yourself, hey, we're going to get out of it. It's early in the season. We're still in April, guys. We can have a bad month and we can get back. But when you're struggling on pretty much all facets of the game, it gets hard to tell yourself that when you show up to the park.
At what point in time, too, do you, as a player, pivot from, yeah, you know what, we're in a little bit of a slump here. But the reality, Trev, is this goes back, unfortunately, to August the 17th. So at what point in time does the reality hit the players that, like, this is bad and there's a chance it's not going to substantially improve over a long period of time?
That's in the back of your mind, but I still think, at least my mentality was always like, hey, we could do it. Like, we're big leaguers, we can do it. And I still don't you guys look at this team and, like, just on paper and say, wow, like, they are not this bad. They are not Chicago White Sox bad. Like, they're not.
But on paper, agreed. Yeah.
On paper, yes. I mean, I truly believe they were going to win the AL Central this year. Just on paper, like, everything lined up great. I was always kind of against, like, the pitching projections, like the starting pitching projections. I think were always higher than, like, I would have graded them out as. But yeah, I don't know. I think you start thinking maybe we do need a major shakeup. Maybe we do need to have Zebby and Festa just in the rotation. Maybe we do need to call up a couple of young kids. What does that mean for some of us on the roster? I don't know. But I think if it gets to May and everything is still the same, which we're a week away from that, I think you really organizationally you start to think like we probably need to make some big changes. And I just did a show with Chris Rose talking about the Chicago Cubs and, like, how great they played and what they need. And the Twins are very, we talked about the roster. It's a fruitful roster and they can be picked apart by a lot of different teams. I really hope it doesn't come to that. I really hope they can turn it around and make something out of the season and go on some run here. Cause they did it last year, albeit it was against the White Sox and the Angels mostly, which, is a little bit different, but I think the way we're headed now, there's a lot of the bullpen, I think, is the first thing to start going. We're still early for that, but that's where my head's at.
I think you're onto something here. I have identified the Cubs. Like, the Cubs' problems dovetail perfectly into what the Twins have. If you put Duran in the Cubs bullpen, like, their bullpen is awful. They made a trade, I think, with the Padres yesterday. But the reality is the bullpen is terrible. Duran could close there in a heartbeat. My only question is, what's the Cubs prospect pool like? Because
really good. Really good.
Well, to me, this feels like no-brainer 101. Cubs need that. If you can get a few prospects, like good ones, man, Trev, I am very intrigued. If the Cubs call me tomorrow, I'm intrigued, to be honest.
They have the best farm system in baseball, like 7 of the top 100 prospects. Wow. I know I'm really not a prospect guy, but we just kind of did this, so it's fresh in my mind. But the reality is every single contending team needs bullpen help. So you're talking Griffin, Duran, Stewart, honestly, like whoever.
I think Coulomb hasn't allowed a run yet.
As a
lefty.
I think everyone can be available. I hate talking about that on April 22nd. I really do.
Hey, they have 4-star hand. I feel like
a little bit.
It's like you guys are 7-15.
But what is that? So, like, the thing is, what does that do for them this year? Like, you just gonna bang this year and just say, hey, we're gonna draw 7,000 fans a game. That's what we're gonna do.
That's the crazy thing, though, is because we kind of had this talk on yesterday's State of the Twins episode. Target Field opened in 2010, and you were part of that season. They've had bad years, a lot of bad years at Target Field, but they've never had a full-on rebuilding year. Because even like some of those 90-loss seasons that you were a part of, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it was like on the outside, you kind of looked and said, yeah, I don't know about Kevin Correa and the rotation. But, they were spending money on Nolasco and Irvin Santana and Phil Hughes. Like, they weren't going into the third season of Target Field with 35,000 fans in attendance every night saying, we're going to be bad on purpose. The last time the Twins were bad on purpose was like 25 years ago. So it is kind of like that. there's a lot of things to poke at this organization for, but they have not stripped it down in a quarter century, and they might actually be staring at that if they don't turn it around in the next month or two.
I hate, this 2012 and this season draw a lot of parallels to me, I think, and that was not a great season for us. I think this team's probably better than we were in 2012, but I don't know, man. I really have a tough time like talking negatively about this team because I do really think they're good players, and I do think they made some smart acquisitions, and it just hasn't worked. And I guess sometimes that's baseball, and sometimes look, we have a whole new hitting system, hitting coaches coming in that clearly hasn't really translated yet. We're all very excited about the message they were portraying in spring training, but the quality of at bats that we were expecting haven't been there. I don't remember what inning exactly it was, but it was Carlos Correa and Harrison Bader up with second and third, nobody out or one out, and they just had bad at bats, just really poor at bats in that situation where you just got to put the ball in play. They both struck out, and it was against Rafael Montero, who's like, that's a guy you drive runs in against. He is. So it's because I haven't been around yet to see like the coaches and like what's going on there. I hate kind of diving in and talking about them, but obviously it just hasn't worked, man. Like runners in scoring position has been bad. The offense on a whole has been bad, and I really don't know where you go. You just kind of have to have hope at this point, and then yes, as we get further in the season, I mean, there's just talent on this team. The team isn't working, but you can turn that talent into prospects or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Trev, how tough is it too? Because Griffin Jax, who has had some meltdowns this year, unfortunately, and was supposed to be probably their best bullpen arm, even with Duran being the ifdo de facto closer. Sometimes Jax will close games. As a player, how tough is it when you have to watch a 3-run lead in the 8th inning just evaporate? I mean, losing sucks, obviously, across the board, whether you're losing 10-0 in the third or losing like that. But how tough is it coming into the clubhouse knowing man, that's one of our best arms, and he continues to struggle in these high leverage situations, and it's cost us a couple games?
It's tough, but I think he's garnered enough he's done so well for so long that I think you're all right, man. Obviously this is going to happen. It happens to everybody. We still believe in Griffin Jax. When we were going through those tough years, a lot of it was more so starting pitching, and we'd be down every game, and that was so hard, dude. In the third, fourth inning, being down 5 runs, it was just this is really tough. But yeah, I think, like I said, those guys in the bullpen have worked up enough. I'm trying to think of the word. I think it's volition, good volition. Is that a word?
Yeah. Hold on.
Judd?
I mean, I'm going to Google that just to verify.
Sorry, that's why I'm pausing on this. I think that's the right word. Where you kind of just chalk up and say, hey, it's a bad stretch.
Volition would be the faculty or power of using one's will. Without conscious volition, she backed into her office.
I think you're looking for equity.
Yeah, equity is a good word for it. Volition is not the right word, apparently.
But it sounded good, and that's the most important thing. The majority of people, they're not going to go and Google that word.
It would be this. Griffin Jax is not he's not giving up runs on his own volition.
Yeah, that's
there it is.
Would be
but it's
nobody's giving runs up on their own volition, right? I don't think.
Well, we don't know that for sure, but I hope not.
Know that for sure. Yeah, I honestly, it's so weird watching this team. I was talking to Morney the other day, and he was doing the Brave series, and he said this team is so close, it's so frustrating, and I kind of don't agree with him. I don't know, there were some close losses and some cough ups, but because nothing is going right, it doesn't feel like they're that close.
I felt like, Trev, that the Friday blown game, which they should have won.
Yeah,
Jax blew it. I felt like because of where this team might be mentally, that impacted the rest of the series. It's once they blew that game, it's of course they're going to lose. It seems like a small thing, but I think if they close that game out on Friday, I think they probably take 2 of 3, but they didn't. And it's this snowball effect.
Then it would have been back-to-back series wins against the Mets and the Braves. And here's the thing. I don't think anybody was saying, shoot, we're going to visit the Braves and they're 8-13 13 or whatever they are. This is the time for the Twins to go. But I know that Braves fans were saying that about the Twins.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means.
Well,
It's totally, yeah. I think some of it too is that this is just such a crazy intersection of a team that's the Twins I'm talking about, a team that's fan base has been mad for like 18 months, and any reason to get excited has been diminished by the 7-15 start. So any of that hope that you might have had of, okay, let's all put our faith as fans and even like media, just give them the benefit of the doubt. That was kind of lost last year. And I guess my next question is, the bleed over from season to season is when this was a really good team for the first 3.5 months of last year, like a 90+ win pace team. And then there were some injuries, but they go in the tank, and they are one of the worst teams in baseball from like middle of August till the end of the year. For that to carry over seems weird. For just like the whole line, there's only like one or two guys in the entire lineup that are outperforming their career norm, for instance. There's pitchers that are getting the carryover after the offseason is the weird part.
I don't think it should carry over. I never felt that way whatsoever. Every single year, you have the spring training optimism, but it does, every year is different. And you feel, especially with this team, again, I think they have a lot of good players. I don't think that would have carried over mentally for them. For the fans, yes. Everyone likes to point out since, mid-August is when they started to really go last year, and what their record is, it's only better than the White Sox. And so like you can put two and two together when you're just following a team, but I don't think the guys in the clubhouse feel that way. And here's I'll give a silver lining. This team still hasn't played completely healthy yet. Like not everybody's been on the field at the same time. So maybe that's the silver lining. And maybe Royce comes back and is the spark plug that we know he can be. And we get Pablo back and everyone's there. And maybe it changes everything. That's the most optimistic thought that I can have right now.
And if they were, because they're probably like this would be the week to spark it, right? Go sweep the White Sox and have the White Sox be what you were to the Braves last weekend, and now you're going. And I think what's tough is, man, if you could take a couple of those games back that you've lost, and this sounds dumb, but like 9-13 going into the White Sox series.
Well, the chance to get back to 500,
and now you're like back to 500. But instead, it's if you sweep the White Sox, you're still 10-15, and they've made the math so hard on this, even with a favorable home stretch here of the next 6 games.
Isn't this the exact same schedule that happened? Because they were not good last year at the beginning of the season either. Then they played the White Sox and the Angels. And then they went 12-0, right? And then things took off from there. So hey,
they did go crazy for a stretch. That's right.
Yes, this is what I'm talking about.
And the fans all come back, and Twins TV gets all these subscribers, and now you're in line for a raise.
Don't go too crazy now. Okay,
hold on a second. Wait, hold on a second. I rarely do this, but I do want to talk about a positive.
Okay,
and that is this: Byron Buxton. There's a positive here.
He's been great.
Byron Buxton, as a person who watches a ton of games. And there's been not a lot to get excited about. Byron Buxton still strikes out a lot, but he looks, Trev, for the first time in I don't know how long, healthy. It looks like he is one of the few, sad statement here, having fun playing. And here's the other thing. On the bases, stealing bases, like this in my opinion, game changer. Even healthy, I don't remember the last time that we have seen him run this freely as far as stealing bases. Byron Buxton has been, in a season that has sucked so far, Byron Buxton's been a joy to watch.
100%. He's been great. And I don't know what we were doing the last couple of years, being like, don't run, Byron, don't run. Like if you sprint at all, you're going to fall apart. It's like, dude, eventually you just got to let this guy go do his thing. You're paying him to go be one of the most electric players in baseball. Let him go be one of the most electric players in baseball. I don't know. And Morney, that was another thing we were just talking about the team, and he said, I've never seen, so like kind of like opposite your point. He said, I've never seen Byron so frustrated. Like he wants to win so bad. And maybe that coincides with he's playing well, and he feels like when he's playing well, the team should be better and just hasn't been that way. But he did say that he's locked in and just, It has been a lot of fun to watch him. I want to go back to the schedule real quick because we do get White Sox, Angels, and then for about the entire month of May, it's a gauntlet. So
Is it Guardians after that? And then
Guardians at Boston, then Baltimore comes in. San Francisco's been playing great. Baltimore, Milwaukee, Cleveland. You got to get these wins now. Go get these wins now, so you feel better about everything, and then you have a chance. If they go out and say they even go 500 these next 3 games, and then you have to go play kind of that next schedule, I think it becomes a daunting task.
I want to give props to Judd there for showing amazing self-restraint with holding the second part of that take, which is Byron Buxton's playing his ass off. He's been incredible. And so the Twins should be able to trade him here in about 5 weeks to
you know what? I actually think he's the one guy that they wouldn't trade.
Well, he does sell some tickets.
I kind of agree with you. That would be really.
I just
tough
got a gut
Twins
feeling
fans.
they wouldn't.
He's a
trade
lifer.
him.
He's a lifer at this point.
If you could get Correa to waive the no trade, and if you ate enough of his salary, I would trade him in a heartbeat now.
Yeah, Buxton does feel like it doesn't feel like he's demanding out yet either. Like he kind of feels like he's a generational Twin, and he wants to see this through. So I think.
Well, thank you,
Phil.
Phil. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at Correa's contract. I need to get a good scope of it to see. So these are all team options at the end. Is there?
Team options.
There's no mutual.
No, they're vesting options with like at bats and stuff, which he of course will never.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. 575 plate appearances is a ton.
Yeah, it's not going to happen for him.
And when do the team options kick in?
29.
Okay,
so he's got
the next
3
few
years
are
after
guaranteed.
this of guaranteed money.
It's like a 6-year guaranteed deal with a bunch of team options. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was thinking about this because if you have to make him waive his no trade clause, he's probably going to have a say in where he'd like to go. Obviously, you can't just say, "Hey, will you waive your no trade clause and go play for the Rockies?" That obviously ain't going to work. Is there a path where he actually goes back to Houston? Like Peña's a sweet shortstop for them. I don't see Peña being moved off there. But in terms of like comfortability,
third base,
like Paredes is their third baseman now, who's been all right. He's kind of bounced around with a lot of teams in the last year. I wonder if there's a path where he goes back to Houston.
I mean, you can move Peña to second base. They don't really have a locked-in second baseman right now. I don't know what they're doing with Altuve in left field. I don't.
Get that dude a GPS.
Good.
Do not understand that whatsoever.
That was painful. It's painful, especially when you watch like Altuve. Even though like there's some clouds around him because of the whole cheating scandal, like that's one of the best hitters of the last 15 years in baseball. And to see him being a butcher in left field is just like, it's demeaning. It's like, oh, dude, he's moving all over the place. It's bad.
So I like to make this point with Altuve. He didn't use he was not part of that. Now, was he part of the team? Yes. Did he benefit from guys being on base in front of him? Yes. Did he stop it? No. But there is like audio fact that like he did not want to use it. He was like one of the least people, and when they did, you could see him looking in the dugout like, don't do that. Yeah. So like again, he benefited from it, but he wasn't using the system. So I'm such a huge Jose Altuve fan.
Yeah, I have a question off just like great smart hitters in a second here, but actually Altuve could either use a GPS or maybe just like an ATV or a motorcycle out there in left field. That's where Dennis Kirk comes in. DennisKirk.com, where they have over 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories for riding season. And here in the Twin Cities today, I don't know, it's like 65, 67, and sunny. So if you are into riding season, Dennis Kirk is your place. Same-day shipping when you place an order by 6 p.m. Central, and free shipping on orders over $89. DennisKirk.com. Also, on the SKOR North Twins Show this month, we are looking to raise some awareness for an important cause. Suicide affects the construction industry specifically, and we can all play a role or a part in saving lives and make a difference for those who build our communities in the construction community. So there's a hike on Saturday, May 31st at Legends Crossings at Vikings Lakes in Eagan, and you can help spread awareness and understanding and send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. Join us for the Construction Hike for Hope by visiting afsp.org/mnconstruction. That's afsp.org/mnconstruction. I saw a clip. Barry Bonds did some podcast recently. I'm trying to remember what it was. It was, I I don't know. It wasn't a baseball specific podcast, but he started talking about, it's like you see these clips of Greg Maddux doing that show, and Barry Bonds now talking about hitting. And I have a friend who played with Bonds in the late 90s, early 2000s with the Giants, and he tells ridiculous stories about Bonds would literally, like, in the hole before he goes in the on-deck circle, say, here's exactly what's going to happen in 3 pitches. Fastball inside, I'm going to foul off the second pitch, and then he's going to groove a breaking ball, and I'm going to hit a home run. And like just legendary stories. Who are some of the smartest hitters you've ever been around, and what made them so smart?
Okay, that's a good question. Some of the smartest hitters.
I mean, Joe Mauer always had a
So
different
I think
level.
Joe was just so, I hate saying this, but he was so naturally blessed too. Like his swing was just so good and so consistent that I think that's where he benefit the most. Morney was very detail oriented, more so than Joe. Like spent more time in the cage, more time watching video. He was probably the first guy that I saw. Like we had all the video at the field on the computers there. Go check it out. But he was the only guy that I ever saw have his own laptop, have him put it on his laptop and go home and do it. I think part of that was, he had young kids, but like that's what he did. He'd go home at the night of and look at his bats. Morning of, he'd go over him. So I think I'd go with Morney as far as like the Twins hitters. I'm trying to think if I played with anybody else that was like super smart and detail oriented. Jed Lowry comes to mind. He's a smart Stanford kid, and I think he had to do that. He made himself a nice chunk of change being a smart hitter. But yeah, Morney would be my answer. And you can tell when he talks hitting on the broadcast, it's like you got to listen.
Yeah, he's good. I saw your the clip of you as well, Trev, talking about the fact or giving credit to Justin for essentially saving your career. I had no idea that it came down to you potentially or Luke Hughes as far as who was going to go back at that time.
Yeah, that was it was in Yankee Stadium. Morney came up to me and told me that. And I don't know, man. Like at the beginning of my career, I felt like I was just happy to be there, and I wasn't having success. And I just was like, I was trying to stay any way that I could. But he took me under his wing. He said, it could have been you. They were deciding, and he goes, you're going to be with me. Like you gotta do something different. And they basically taught me about a routine. I didn't. It was tough for me to have a routine also at that point because I wasn't playing every day, and I was up and down. So like your routine gets thrown off. I couldn't have a starter's routine because I wasn't a starter, and I couldn't. It's hard to establish that. And then he's just like, "Who cares? Stop making excuses. Establish a routine." And I did his, and then kind of, honestly, like 2 or 3 weeks after that is when I was thrust into a starting role because of some injuries and stuff, and did well. But yeah, he was huge influence for me in my career for sure.
Is that routine like just you talking like when you get to the ballpark, or is it like a 24-hour more big picture routine?
His was just at the ballpark. That's what we talked about. Because you do have a lot of downtime, especially we showed up to the ballpark so early. And you showed up to the ballpark at 1:00 for a 7:00 game. And there is a lot of downtime where you can get caught up and you can just kind of like, I don't know what to do. And I'm just like sitting there. And that's like, you could use your time more wisely and kind of prepare your body a little bit more. He was already at that age, at that point where he's feeling that he needed to do more things with his body. I was young. And I felt great every day. My body didn't hurt ever. But eventually that goes away. Like right now I play tennis one day and I can't run the next. It's like, edit that part out. I don't want anyone knowing that
They're bad.
No, that's for sure staying in.
No, yeah, he helped me. He helped me in time. You got me thinking about like the smartest hitters though, because I feel like there's definitely more than that.
Yeah.
But really, he comes to mind as a guy that he probably put the most work in of any hitter I ever played with. Morney.
This Bonds clip I saw, one of like the 3 of them last night or 2 nights ago. He makes hitting a baseball is one of the most complicated, hardest things in all of sports. But the way he talks about it, he essentially said, eventually, there's a lot more pressure on the pitcher to deliver that baseball in this small little box. He has to throw it in that small little box. And we can dance and we can play chess, but eventually you've got to throw a ball in that box. And I'm not worried about where I hit it or the fielders. if I just put the bat on the ball when you put the ball in that box, it's like, yeah, that's a very simple way to approach baseball.
Yeah, for like the guy with like the best hand-eye coordination of all time.
All
Sure.
time.
Right.
You got it, dude. Like I don't know what his vision is. Must be incredible. But hey, there are just different animals out there, man. Like he's just a different animal. Like he is. Things are easier for him, and like he put the work in too. That's when you get the great players. When you are naturally gifted and you have these attributes like great vision, great hand-eye coordination, and you put the work in and you study. Like that's when you see greatness. So
It's also kind of cool.
I know what interview you're talking about. I think it was it All the Smoke?
Might have been.
It was with
those
was
guys.
it yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, and I listened to that and I'm like, dude, you're crazy. Like you are either lying or like we're just completely different.
You know what's
like,
great though is like obviously he is the centerpiece of the steroid era, and because of that, he just wasn't really interviewed for 20 years. It feels like we're getting. I want to hear from him. You know, it'd be great if we could hear from one of the most legendary players, even without the PEDs, and just hear his thoughts on baseball and how to hit a baseball. But we. You know, for 15 years, it was like, oh, you can't even bring him into a stadium for a ceremony. He's toxic. So
this guy that I've met and become like, I don't want to say business partners with, that, you know, we invested in John Boy together, and like I've just become friends with him. He's a local LA guy. He was doing a documentary with Bonds, like has a ton of like footage like of him interviewing Barry, and I don't know what happened. It just didn't work out. But he says the same thing. It's like, dude, like some of the things he says, it's like you're talking to a different type of person. Like he's not a normal thinking human being. Like he is figured out things that nobody else has figured out. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Like share some of those secrets, man.
yeah.
Hey, last thing here on the SKOR North Twins Show with Coach Trev. We were joking around in the text there with Mackie and Trev and I.
Sorry, Judd.
Every week we're gonna do the slapdick.
Yeah, where's Judd at?
Yeah, Judd.
Why am I not in the thread?
All right.
Put him on the text.
Why am I
Judd.
not in the thread? There are times I think, you know,
Do you
what,
have a
I'd
cell
like to-
phone?
I'd like to. Yes, I have a cell phone. There are times I think to myself, I would like to text my friend Coach Trev. Oh, I don't have a
Anytime
cell
you
phone.
want.
Everybody
Anytime you
else
want.
has his cell phone. I
And
don't
I know you have a cell phone. I've
Yeah.
seen all your selfie videos, so I know.
That's right.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Judd to this.
Thank you. I've been left out. How about that? How about that being frozen? 55 and it's like high school. I'm still being frozen out.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
But we did kind of tease, because if this season's going off the rails, let's take one of Trev's favorite words, which is slapdick prospect, and let's give a little update. Who's the slapdick prospect of the week? And this is a little offensive because I do think this guy's maybe above that type of term, and I think you're also a little familiar with him, Trev. But Luke Keyshaw. So Luke Keyshaw comes up, has a nice opening weekend against the Braves, has some first hit as an RBI. He's coming off the Tommy John surgery, which isn't as invasive and as much of hurdles to cross when you're a hitter versus a pitcher. But in the minor leagues, a career OBP of 415. He's almost a 300 career hitter in the minors. Dominated college baseball, and now here he is. Positionally, I think it's still second base. I don't know if he's like going to be a Gold Glove fielder necessarily, but he's athletic. The dude can hit, and the Twins got their first kind of glimpse of what Luke Keyshaw can bring to them.
I liked watching him play. Like he played exactly how you want a guy being brought up to play. Like, you know, very aggressive, running the bases hard. You know, some of the swings were funny. The first base hit, that's awesome to get it that way. Knock. Watching him play second base with Carlos, you can tell, like, obviously they haven't worked a ton together, and he hasn't played the field, right? That was the first time he played the field.
Yes, he's been mostly a DH and like spent a little bit of time at second. Like, and when he was in AAA this year, they were limiting him. So like he only played 5 innings at a time in the field before getting basically pulled, unless he was DHing for the whole game.
It looks that way, and that's not a dig on him. Like, he needs reps there, especially with Carlos, especially at the big league level. Like, you can't understate how hard that is to just be put in a position that you haven't done a ton. And second base is such a strange position. It's gotten a little bit easier with like the fact the guys have to go straight into the bag now, so that's changed. But you know, some of the flips on some double plays were, you know, he kind of chose the wrong thing. At second base, you either if you're close enough, underhand, mid range is like the shovel pass, and then if you have to turn your feet and throw overhand, like those are the 3 throws. And turning and throwing that way against your body is very difficult. It's one of the tougher throws for an infielder. But no, he's looked great. I mean, it's exactly what you want. Long-term second base, that's his position, huh?
I think so.
Okay.
He's been
He's got to get reps.
Time yeah.
He's got the athleticism to do it. And he's like a badass. Like, he's big and strong and like I like
we need him to save the Twins. We need.
I think you're referring to. I think, Trev, you're referring to, if you saw the Saturday game, there was a double play ball, and his flip to Correa was incorrect, and so Correa ate the ball and looked at Keyshaw like that wasn't good. But he didn't say anything because Keyshaw's young. No. But yeah, it was a 4.63 special. And Correa's smart enough. He's like, okay, it's 4.6. That's it.
Yeah. He underhanded ball.
Yes.
It was up in the air. Like, a shortstop wants the ball. Give me the ball. Like, don't baby it over to me. Like, give me the ball. It's easier to transfer. Obviously, it's quicker.
Right.
Look, those are all things that just come with time. And the fact that he hasn't been playing the field is, you got to give this guy a huge leash and understand. I'm sure pregame, I haven't seen it. I haven't been there, but I'm sure pregame he's out there every single day working. Yeah. I know some prospects. I know Emmanuel Rodriguez.
Well, yeah, you came right through with the Cubs thing. Yeah, it's fine.
That was pretty impressive. Wow. The wide range.
I'll try to stump you next week.
But you got to make that throw right. Like,
the wide range of knowledge, the guy that's on the big league team right now.
From my couch, Trev, I said the second baseman's got to deliver that ball. I said the exact same thing.
Right there, that one.
Yeah. Now you can text us that tape.
About to say, now you get to experience the Judd thoughts.
I don't have anything yet.
We could do like,
I don't have numbers. I got nothing.
We need a group chat name. It has to have a picture. Like, let's go. Let's step it up a little bit.
We'll beef it up. Yeah.
Just so you know, Judd, at first it was just Dex and I, and then Phil on the side sometimes, and then they combined. So it wasn't always. This just started happening.
And my guess is they text you, and you're like, "Oh
God,
no, oh God, here they go."
I love being
again.
part of this show.
These idiots.
My guess.
As long as it doesn't get me fired for my broadcasting job, be okay.
No, I think just to be okay. The truth is not controversial. That's right.
I agree. What do they want me to do? Be like, just like lie?
Coming up next,
we'll see how bad
five
this gets.
Key things. Find 5 great things you saw, and don't talk about the negative. Oh, Luke Keyshaw, that flip wasn't great, but I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't bad.
He's not the problem. I'll tell you that right now.
Plouffe, Keyshaw the problem.
I don't know if Rocco's the problem either. We didn't even get into that, but
maybe next week.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now.
There might be time for that talker. There's time for that talker.
I'll tell you right now.
Hey, hit the like button and subscribe button here on the SKOR North Twins Show. That's Coach Trev. Go check out his work with John Boy Media. Appreciate it, Trev. Talking next Tuesday. This is the SKOR North Twins Show. Appreciate you guys.